In this video, we are going to look at how to perform a basic search in the CINAHL database and use filters to achieve the most relevant results. You can use the chapters in the description to navigate to the sections most relevant to your needs. What is a database? A database is an organized, searchable set of information. We can think of resources in our daily lives like Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon as databases as well. In this case, we are searching the CINAHL database, or Cumulative Index to Nursing and Allied Health Literature. And this database includes research articles and other professional information designed to provide nurses and other allied health providers with evidence-based research sources. And we can get to CINAHL from the library homepage at library.pace.edu, clicking on the Databases tab and the letter C. In the new window that pops up, we can scroll down to CINAHL and click on that link.
Let's say that a nursing student is looking for the most recent evidence regarding treatments for depression. When they arrive at the CINAHL main search page, they'll see these three search boxes. And for a very basic search, we can enter one concept into this box and click search. So in the first box, I'm just going to put in my topic of depression. For searches with more than one concept, we want to use a separate box for each term. In this video, we're going to use a maximum of 2 boxes. And for more information on how to do a more complex search using multiple boxes, you can see our more advanced videos linked in the description. So I'm going to click search. We have over 200,000 results, which is a lot. So rather than reviewing all of these or limiting ourselves to just these first results, we can use the limiters provided by CINAHL to narrow down to the most relevant results. If you'd like, you can pause the video and do your own search along with me. You can open the filters menu at the top of the page under the search box by clicking on all filters. And there are a lot of options, so I'll point out the most useful ones. And you can sort of think of this panel as the menu when you go shopping for clothes. If you want a particular size or a particular style, you'll be able to open a menu to select, and this is a similar process. I'm going to skip the full text box and explain later why that's not always the best choice to use. We also see a box for peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed articles have gone through a special editing process in which experts in that specialty area have read it in order to check for problems with methods or analysis, and then provided feedback to the author. You're not limited to using peer-reviewed articles unless your professor says so. However, those may be considered more authoritative because they have been through that review process. There's also a checkbox for English language if you want to limit only to articles written in English. We can also look at the publication date. You should be limiting to the past 5 or so years because that is a standard in medical research to ensure that you are getting the most recent information. Or if you'd really like to know the most up-to-date evidence, you can limit to the past 12 months. I can also limit to only academic articles if I don't want to see these other types of information sources in my results. And a quick note about that label academic, that just means that it is a scholarly research article, but not necessarily peer-reviewed. While all peer-reviewed articles in CINAHL are academic, not all academic articles are peer-reviewed. So you would need to check academic articles and peer-reviewed if you'd like those articles to have gone through that peer review process. And back down towards the bottom, there are a few other filters like language, age, gender, and geography, which can help you limit based on the participants in the study or the location of the study. And so I'm going to click apply to update my results. So those limiters have taken us down to 58,000 articles or so. There's also another way to use these limiters, which might be preferable because you can see more options, is we can go back to the advanced search and there's a filters tab here as well. And this would be before we actually click search. So we can see some of the filters that we already used before, as well as many new options. Some of these different ones might be useful to help you limit based on the type of study. For example, whether or not it was human versus animal study, whether the authors were nurses, is it a randomized control trial, does it relate to pregnancy, are they inpatient or outpatient? So all of those can help you narrow down to a particular type of study and evidence. And down further, there are some drop downs and other menus, which can help you target specific types of research studies. So for example, I can limit to only female participants, and I can select different age groups. So if I wanted to look at younger people, I can click adolescents. But if I also want 19 and 20-year-olds, I can select adult. And scrolling up, I can also look at the location of practice, and I can select the United States and go back up and make sure that the past 5 years is selected. So now with all of those filters, I can click search. So we've limited a lot more, down to under 2,000 articles. We are also able to change how these results are sorted. So right now they're sorted by relevance, and that is based on the algorithm from the database that takes into account my keyword and all of my filters to try to pull the most relevant information to the top. But I can also drop this down and look at the newest or the oldest first. So for example, if I wanted to see the latest articles in this topic area, I can sort by date newest and see that there was something actually published July 2025. Now we can start reviewing the articles to see which ones we'd like to read further. First, we can start at the article title. Right below it in the first line is more specific article information, such as the publication date, the authors, and the journal where it was published. And the journal usually does give us some context for what the article is about. So this is aging and mental health, and that makes sense because the article is about caregiver characteristics and dementia. Underneath the journal information, you will see the abstract, which is the article summary to tell you what it's about. And then there will be subjects underneath the abstract, and sometimes there can be a lot, so you can show more. And these are almost like hashtags of what the main focus of the article is about. So it can give you a little more information and context in addition to the abstract. But now, what if our nursing student has reviewed these articles and realized that they're a bit too general? They want to hone in on a more specific concept related to depression. So we can click on Advanced Search, and we're going to add a concept into this second box. So we can add telehealth in the second box, and it is connected to the first box with this drop down. These are called Boolean operators, and it's going to default to and, which just means that every article in our results will have both depression and telehealth in the article. If we used or, that would mean we could get articles about depression, articles about telehealth, or articles about depression and telehealth together. So that is too expansive for what I'm looking for right now. So I want to connect them with and, that will bring back articles with both concepts in each search result. So I have under 25 results now, and that is because we've done a lot of limiting. We have 2 concepts, depression and telehealth, and I have 6 filters applied. Remember, I have the filters for age, location, and sex of the patients selected. So that's really limiting. So I can go back to all filters and I can take off some of these. So I can take off United States, I can take off female, and I can take off age if I'm changing my topic to be more about this concept of telehealth. And I can always add them back as I start to refine my topic. You'll notice that under each article, there are links to help us locate the full text of these articles. Under access options, you'll see 2 different options, PDF or online full text. The online full text option will look more like a web page and more like almost a Wikipedia article, a format for the research article, but you'll still have all the same information. And on the top right, you'll see helpful tools to help you organize yourself as you're researching. So the citation button will help you get a citation to copy and paste into your reference page. The share button will give you a permalink if you click create link. This is helpful to save to get access back to this article. It includes all of the password information to CINAHL, which is a paid subscription through PACE. The link up here in the address bar will not include that information, and you won't be able to get directly back to this article. So that is under the share button. You can also download a copy or print a copy. The PDF viewer will let us see how the article looks in publication. So this is helpful for being able to see the distinct sections of an academic article, like the introduction or case examples or the methods or analysis sections. And we still have the same tools in the toolbar on the top. If there's a search for item button, this means that we do not have access to that full article in CINAHL, but maybe in another PACE database. So if I click search for item, it will open this full text finder window, and it may link you out to a different database. So clicking this link will take me to full text outside of CINAHL. Sometimes you'll see a link to use interlibrary loan rather than a link out to another database. In this case, we don't have full text at any PACE database, and you would need to click this link to request the article through our interlibrary loan service. So these abstracts in our database are a good reason why using the full text button might not always be valuable. If we had checked that box, this article result would not have appeared in our search, and we wouldn't think to request it through interlibrary loan. Lastly, you can save articles by creating an EBSCO account. So if you click on My EBSCO in the top right, you can click Sign In if you have an account, or click Create an account to start a new one. Once you're signed in, you can click the little flag next to any article that you'd like to save, or you can save your entire search by clicking the three little dots next to Relevance and click Save Search. You can keep the default name of your keywords, or you can update it, add a description, and you'll see all the different filters that we had applied, and then click Save. These saved articles and searches show up under My Dashboard in the Saved folder. The individual articles show up under the Records tab, and the search will show up under the Searches tab. So you can unsave any search by clicking the little flag. You can select Edit Details to see the information or change the name, or click on the title of the search to rerun it to get back to your search results.
So if you have any questions about using CINAHL, you can visit the library homepage to request assistance through our Ask a Librarian chat, or under our Help menu to make an appointment with a librarian.